Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the hidden psychology behind the quirky little things we do every single day. We're going to look at our daily habits, those unspoken emotions, and the personality traits that make us, well, human. We'll specifically be diving into things like the truth behind sarcasm, how video games affect creativity, and the undeniable power of old songs. So, if you're ready to figure out the hidden drivers of human behavior, let's just jump right in. Let's kick things off with a question that might totally flip how you view your friend group. Think about your most sarcastic friend. Usually, we think of sarcasm as a defense mechanism, right? Like someone not taking things seriously. But psychology reveals something absolutely wild. People with a sarcastic personality are actually the most honest with their friends. Seriously, delivering sarcasm requires this incredibly direct, unfiltered read of a situation. So those quick-witted, sarcastic folks, they're literally giving you the most honest version of the truth. Kind of reframes that one friend we all have, doesn't it? Okay, moving on to Chapter 1, our quirky social signals. Let's see how our external behaviors expose our inner traits. And right away, the difference in how we physically express ourselves is just staggering. Get this, the average woman smiles about 60 times a day, whereas the average man smiles only 10 times a day. That is a massive 600% difference. It really highlights how differently we're wired or maybe conditioned to physically project joy or politeness to the outside world based on gender. Speaking of projecting joy, humor is basically a superpower. First off, making someone smile or laugh instantly makes you appear way more attractive to them. It's a real social magnet. But here's the deeper layer. Paying attention to exactly what they laugh at is a phenomenal way to judge their character. Humor is super subjective, right? So whatever someone genuinely finds funny gives you a direct, unfiltered window into their core values and personality traits. Now, we usually assume our feelings dictate our actions, but it turns out your behavior can literally hack your biology. It's a simple 3-step process. Step 1, just fake confidence. Seriously, fake it till you make it. Step 2, this physical act actually positively influences your brain chemistry. And step 3, it changes your life. It's absolutely crucial to realize that just by forcing a confident posture, you're sending biological signals to your brain that actually alter its chemical state to match what you're doing on the outside. Mind-blowing, right? Let's look at another involuntary signal. If you're someone who blushes easily, you probably hate it, but psychology says you shouldn't. It turns out people who blush easily are generally seen by others as more generous and trustworthy. Because blushing is a totally uncontrollable physical reaction, it screams authenticity. People subconsciously pick up on that honesty and instantly reward it with their trust. Let's shift gears a bit. Chapter 2, Media, Memories, and Mood. Let's dive into how the stuff we consume shapes our minds. So think about the power of old songs for a second. This is one of our strongest psychological anchors. A massive 70% of people love old songs specifically because of the deep nostalgic memories attached to them. Basically, our brains naturally hold on to information we can tie to our personal memory, and we tend to just dump the stuff we don't care about. So an old song isn't just music, it's literally a psychological time capsule. Your brain uses that exact melody to unlock a specific time, place, and feeling. That is exactly why old music holds such an incredibly strong grip on our mood. And it's not just music doing the heavy lifting in our brains. If you love gaming, you are going to love this piece of psychological validation. Playing video games actually sparks your brain and makes you way more creative. You aren't just sitting there passively consuming content. As a gamer, you're constantly problem-solving, exploring these crazy environments, and reacting on the fly. That active engagement forces your brain to think completely outside the box. So yeah, your digital hobbies are actively upgrading your creativity. Okay, how about a quick, highly specific mood hack involving food? Eating bananas literally makes you happy. Seriously. Bananas contain tryptophan, and once you eat it, your body directly converts that into serotonin. And serotonin is the master hormone that stabilizes our mood and fuels feelings of well-being and happiness. So, grabbing a banana is essentially hitting a direct chemical mood boost button. Have you ever caught yourself texting and your thumbs are just flying across the screen at lightning speed? Well, most people unconsciously type faster when they're interacting with someone they actually like. It's this potent mix of excitement, anticipation, and just a biological urge to connect quickly. So your physical typing speed is basically a built-in barometer for your affection. Which brings us to a really brilliant psychological trick you can try right now. It's all about subconscious association. If someone asks you a super simple question, do you really love them? And they don't even mention a specific name, exactly one person will instantly pop into your mind. Just one. Your brain immediately bypasses all logic and goes straight to the single most emotionally resonant figure in your life. No thinking required. All right, Chapter 3, Unlocking Hidden Emotional Truths. Let's move away from external inputs and look deeply inward. Take a moment and consider a concept called cherophobia. This is when people are genuinely, truly terrified of experiencing too much joy because they inherently believe a tragic event is just bound to follow it. It's this wild defense mechanism where the brain links peak happiness with impending disaster. Realizing this exists is super important for understanding why someone might suddenly self-sabotage right when everything in their life is going perfectly. And speaking of self-sabotage, let's talk about overthinking. It destroys you from the inside out, basically acting as a complex form of fear. But it becomes incredibly dangerous when you mix that fear with anticipation, emotion, memory, perception, and imagination. When all those cognitive engines fire up at the exact same time, you aren't just worrying anymore. Your brain is literally constructing these highly detailed, vividly imagined worst-case scenarios based on warped perceptions of past memories. That is why you have to be so incredibly careful with how you process those heavy, negative thoughts. Pretending you don't feel anger, sadness, or loneliness, that can literally destroy you mentally. Burying those emotions doesn't make them magically disappear. It just bottles them up under immense, crushing pressure. Acknowledging that you're in pain isn't weakness. It's a hard requirement for your mental survival. Now, how we actually express that pain varies wildly, which brings us to an incredibly powerful stat. 80% of women choose silence to express their pain. This is huge for your interpersonal relationships. If a woman in your life chooses to completely ignore you, it usually means she's truly, deeply hurt. In this context, silence isn't just a lack of words, it's a deafening roar of emotional distress. But what happens when that pain gets too heavy, even for silence? Well, crying is simply your body's physical response when your mouth can no longer articulate the ache you feel inside. When your brain just can't process the sheer depth of the pain using language anymore, it triggers a physical release valve instead. And these deep internal emotional states even dictate our physical need for rest. It's fascinating. Happy people actually require less sleep to function normally during the day. But sadness? Sadness actively increases your physical urge to sleep more. It's like your emotional battery is hardwired to your physical battery. When your mind is just weighed down with sadness, your body tries to force a shutdown so you can heal and conserve energy. Furthermore, our emotions love to wear little disguises. Have you ever been in one of those moods where absolutely everything irritates you? Every single tiny noise, every minor inconvenience just sets you off? Well, psychology indicates that this generalized irritation is often a hidden sign that you are actually just missing someone. Your brain is masking the vulnerability of longing and separation anxiety with a much more defensive, aggressive emotion, frustration. As we get close to wrapping up this explainer, I really want you to remember the immense, lifelong legacy of our words. There's a quote, "The way we talk to our children becomes their inner voice." The praise, the criticism, the tone we use, none of that just shapes their current behavior. We are quite literally programming the internal monologue they are going to use to speak to themselves for the rest of their entire lives. That is a massive psychological responsibility. Finally, I'm going to leave you with this incredibly profound thought to ponder long after we finish. The psychology of our minds remains active until the very, very end. When a person dies, they actually have exactly 7 minutes of brain activity left. And what exactly happens during those final 7 minutes? The mind plays back its memories in a dream sequence. It's a final, cinematic review of everything you've ever experienced. Welcome to